Welcome, friends, once again to this final day of the three-day event we have had in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. I want to thank Doug Brookins for his presence and for his songs that he gave here. I would also like to thank Rick Burgett, the regional coordinator for the East Coast, and the co-coordinator Esther Ulsman, and two special girls who helped them, Rekha and Sassy. I would like to acknowledge their seva by applause. I would also like to recognize that in this gathering, we have people from not only the United States, from as far away as California in the west, from Dallas in the south, from Wisconsin in the north, but from several overseas countries, including Sweden, Germany, Austria, London, Iran, Iraq, Philippines, Japan, India. So you will notice that we are Ghana. We are here from all over the world. Also in this gathering are Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Jews, Druze, and atheists. And they all are open to the same spiritual path that I share with you. The point I am making is, spiritual path is not a religion. It is not meant for any particular religion. It's open to all religions. It's open to all nationalities. It does not care for caste, creed, nationality, gender. It's a universal thing and open to all human beings. Every religion that I studied, and I studied 11 religions at Harvard University, every religion talks of one God. And after the founders of religions, who were mystics and saints who left these messages for us, we make them small groups and call them religions, societies, associations, missions. Masters don't come for setting up any religion. They don't come up to set up any mission, society, or any group. Their message is always for everybody. When Jesus said, "The kingdom of God is within you," he did not mean the kingdom of God is within Christians. He meant within everybody. When Prophet Muhammad spoke of Islam and Rabb, the God, he didn't say it Rabbe Muslimin, that's only for Muslims. He said Rabbe Alameen is for the whole world. The Hindu text says one God and all religions are covered by that. The Rig Vedas specifically says God is the nad, the sound, the ultimate current which pervades in every human being. Therefore, it's not that the Sikh Granth itself says that the Akal Purakh, the one that is beyond time, the creator of all, is for everybody, all humanity, not for any particular group. If you look at the teachings of these people, recorded teachings, they are saying openly, their message is for all seekers of the entire world, of entire humanity. And we have, after they have left, made them into small groups and called them religions, societies, missions. They don't come to set up missions. That is why it's an exploration of your own self. It's an exploration of reality. How can there be different self and different reality? Therefore, I'm making it clear that this is not something that will be set up as a separate institution. I have not come here to set up any mission or any special society. An institute for the study of human awareness is being used only for logistical purposes to help that we can get together and meet. No other purpose. The entire humanity is open to be a member of that. There's no restriction whatsoever. Whenever I've spoken anywhere, all are welcome to come there. No restriction whatsoever. So that is why do not take that we set up groups in this. Spirituality does not recognize any groups. Spirituality is for everybody. I am here not, I've never claimed to be a master. You know that. Why am I doing all this? As a service, as a seva to my master, whose picture is sitting right here, to show you whose seva I am doing. You might think I am doing your seva. No, that's incidental. I am doing seva from him, strictly according to his instructions, strictly according to his mandate, neither more nor less. So that's why I can't go away. Somebody said, why don't you open some public schools and teach there? I said, that's not in my mandate. Why don't you set up a particular kind of a group? I said, no, that's not my mandate. My master came for the whole world. I am going to send his message to the whole world. In 1936 and 37, great master wrote letters to several American disciples of his. I've got copies of some of those letters, in which he said the axis of spirituality is going to shift to the West. And there have been great masters, perfect living masters, in the East, in the Middle East, in the Far East. Very few in the West. The axis is turning around, and there will be perfect living masters. A series of them, several of them, in the West, in Europe, in America, and especially in North America. He mentioned this. So that is why am I here? I am an Indian citizen, born in India, now I am a US citizen. Why did I come rushing here? To take a ringside seat to see this show of the transformation. How the spiritual axis is actually shifting, and people in the West are tired of affluence. It has not given them the peace of mind they wanted. It has not given them any spiritual benefit. It has only led to more struggle, more competition, and more unhappiness. Therefore, great master said that one day, India, China, these great Eastern countries where great mystics came, will be running after money, setting up more factories, more industries, trying to make more money. Whereas the West, which has been making money and doing industrial work, will turn to spirituality and look for something more real inside. I am just a witness to this change. And I'm very happy to be doing that. So, when I share these teachings with you, they are teachings which were useful for me. I got them from Hazur Maharaj Baba Sawan Singh Ji, the great master. I have tested them out. I tested them out not in isolation, but comparing them with all other teachings I could possibly take. I got converted to Islam. I got baptized in Christianity. I joined Jain groups. I joined every type of group. I joined the sadhus in the mountains. I did meditation of all kinds of yogas. Even some such terrible yogas I don't want to mention. But at the end, after 8 years of this study, of comparison, I came back to great master, said, I have not found anything better. Why did I do this? And I did this after getting initiated from him. He didn't say, now you're initiated by me, now you're bound with me, you can't go anywhere, you are wedded to me. He didn't say that. Do you know what he said? He said, I have given you something that has worked for me. If it works for you, very good. If it doesn't, go and find something better. He not only said, go and find something better, he said, if you find something better, come and tell me. I will also follow that. These are great master's words. It's so open. There is no such thing as binding you down. If you bind down, it becomes a cult. No spirituality. Cult is not a spirituality. That which curbs your freedom cannot be spirituality. Spirituality leads to greater freedom. It does not curb your freedom and tie you down to a small group. And that is why here in this gathering are disciples of several masters. I was in California a few years ago, and a man came to me. He said, you have performed a miracle. I said, what miracle have I performed? I'm not performing any miracles, and it's a news for me that I performed a miracle. I said, what miracle did I perform? He said, there are people sitting in this audience who, when they are outside, they hate each other, they criticize each other because they belong to different gurus. And here they are sitting together like brothers. This must be a miracle. I said, that is because I am not saying that this, what I am saying, is something only for one set of people. In my audiences, there are people who follow Aurobindo Ghosh, there are people who follow Muktanand, there are people who follow different gurus who are here, who follow different masters, who follow Western masters. There are so many people who are following different masters, because ultimately the teachings of all masters is the same. If it's a true teaching, how can it be different? And the true teaching is very simple. It says the truth, the reality. If you want to find it, you will find it within yourself, not outside. You can try as hard as you like. You can go to all the pilgrimages you like. If you want to find the truth, you have to go within yourself. That simple thing. And they also say, you can try any methods of going within. They also tell us that there are several stages to which you can reach in your pursuit of inner knowledge and inner reality. There are stages where you can find how the energies of this body work together. They sustain this body and they sustain your experience of the universe. The universe is a creation from yourself. Therefore, what is inside your body controls everything, including your experience of a universe outside. They tell us that this body of ours is the most wonderful thing ever made is a human body. It contains so much, not only information, not only systems of work, system that can work, but it contains centers, like ganglions, such centers, where from you can contact any level of consciousness. That's amazing, that within this body should lie a system of centers, certain nucleus. By putting attention on those nuclei, you are able to have any experience of any kind. And those are 18 such centers in the human body. Most people don't know anything about 18 centers. Most yogis talk of 6 chakras. Some say 7th chakra, the crown chakra. And they talk of the energies that can be found in the human body by going to the 6 chakras below the eyes. Those 6 centers are all energy centers. They control all the energies that control our life and control our relationship with the universe. But they do not give you higher awareness of any other universe. The centers that give you awareness of other universes lie behind the eyes and above the eyes, above the head. Only in this little section of the human body. The eyes are the cutting point. The eyes divide the lower part of the body into those centers which govern energy, and those centers, 12 centers behind the eyes, control awareness, higher awareness. The 12 centers, they control the astral plane, the causal plane, the spiritual plane, and our true home. They contain everything, divided into small sections. These control the 6 separate types of energies. This body has been described as Pinda. Pinda means physical body. The Pinda is what is controlling the 6 energy centers and is below the eyes. The Anda, which really means the egg, the origin. The origin of all this lies behind the eyes. And these centers go right into the center of the head. And as we meditate, trying to focus our attention, trying to put ourselves behind the eyes, we are able to open up those centers and have the experience of the highest levels of awareness. We don't leave the body, we become unaware of it. It is a successive steps of unawareness of the outer covers that opens up the inner covers. Our attention is piercing through these 3 covers. The cover of the mind, the cover of the sense perceptions, and the cover of the physical body. They divide our experience into these layers. The layer of the Pinda, Anda, Brahmanda. These three layers create all our experiences in time and space. The universal mind which creates all these experiences operates through these three different channels, through these three covers. It is like wearing one costume over another costume to do different acts and to have different experiences. So when we are able to withdraw our attention, which, as I explained yesterday and day before, is like dying while living. That means you do the same process of withdrawing your attention and consciousness from the extremities of your body to your head, like when you die. When you die, that's how your awareness is pulled up. Ultimately, you are able to speak when you are unaware of where your hands and feet are. Similarly, you are able to speak when you are just pulling out of the torso. When you come up here, you are unable to speak. When you go here, when the brain is dead, the head is dead, the life has gone out, you are dead. Here, in meditational practice, in a simulated death, dying while living, you don't die. You keep the body intact. You merely go and touch those different centers. And by touching those centers, you become unaware of this body. You become unaware subsequently of your sense perceptions. You become unaware of your mind, and you open up and discover who you are as the soul, as the spirit. Spirituality arises from the spirit. The spirit lies beyond the mind. And perfect living masters come here and tell us to take us to the spiritual place. They say the truth lies in the spiritual planes and not in the three covers of the mind, senses, and the physical body. But all this is available to us while we are still in the physical body. That's the beauty of this body, that we have this arrangement already built into this body in a human body. This arrangement does not exist in any other form of life. This arrangement of being able to access these centers of higher awareness does not exist anywhere. The discriminating mind, the mind that can differentiate things, the mind that makes choices, the mind that experiences free will, does not occur in any other species. Out of the 8.4 billion species recorded in Indian literature, none of them have this ability except one, the human form. It's amazing. The human form should be so singularly different, should be so unique, that they have this capacity to touch those centers of awareness and get to know who they are. This ability has been placed in us as an arrangement made by our own self, as our own totality in our own reality, that when we get tired of these experiences we are having with these covers on, we should be able to go back. I mentioned the other day about a movie somebody recommended to me to see. I don't see many movies because I cry in them, as you know. But this movie I didn't cry, not too much. It was called Inception. In that movie, they show how you can go into a dream, then dream within a dream, and then a dream within the second dream, in a third dream. I noticed some beautiful things in that movie. One was the change of the nature of time when you go into sleep state and a dream state. A 10 minutes of wakeful state in a dream can become an hour. In a deeper dream can be a lifetime. In 1962-63, I first time came to this country. In those days, this was a big subject to study. Sleep, dream. A lot of people were interested in interpreting dreams. What do they mean? Where do they come from? It's a subject that has become interesting again now. And there's a group of scientists examining whether dreamland is a reality somewhere and we actually go there, or is it just merely created from our subconscious by picking up some old elements? Because some of the experiences people have in dreams are not relatable to their life here at all. And that is why they're examining whether dreams have something more. And this is currently under examination. But in 62-63, they used to have sleep clinics and sleep labs where they would put subjects to sleep and allow them to dream, and they put electrodes on them, they put cameras on them, they would see rapid eye movements being recorded, and they could always know now the person is in deep sleep, now the person is dreaming, just because looking at the eyes and the rapid eye movement. They also noticed that when the eyes move vertically like this, that means they are seeing something vertical. They would wake up the subject in the middle of the night after they see the eyelids moving like this, and they would say, "What were you dreaming?" "Oh, I was seeing a waterfall. It was a beautiful waterfall. Water was coming down." As if internally he was looking up and down, and that was being reflected in the physical body by the movement of his eyelids. Somebody's eyelids were moving like this in a horizontal direction, and he would be woken up. "What were you seeing?" "I was seeing a tennis match." So a tennis match, the ball was going here and there. So the dream sequences that were taking place were to some extent being reflected on the physical body also. But the person seeing the tennis match and the person seeing the waterfall was totally aware that he was the same self who woke up, but he was not aware of his physical body. He lost awareness of his physical body, but he was still the same person, same self. The self never changes no matter what you are seeing, in what state you are, whether dreaming, awake, in the higher level of consciousness, or in your true home in totality. The self continues to be the same. That is why the self is the only permanent reality. If you want to find permanent reality, find the self. Now, when they were doing these experiments with sleep, they found that a person with 7 minutes of sleep could narrate things that happened in 2 hours. In one unique case, which I still remember, one person had a sleep dream sequence in which he felt he was a little child going to school, and he felt he grew up. He met a girl there and he fell in love. He married that girl. He had children. He became old. He was doing some work. He retired. When he was a grandfather, he woke up. The sequence lasted 7 minutes. He lived his whole life in 7 minutes. So there is a scientific explanation for that, why that happens, and there's a metaphysical explanation. The scientific explanation is that when you have these experiences, you're not living through your whole life, you're living through flashes. Flash after flash comes. And those flashes just took 7 minutes. You can gather enough flashes in 7 minutes to have a whole life. When you see this scientific explanation of a dream, then you begin to understand the scientific explanation of this world also, this life also. These are also flashes. These are also still flashes, like I mentioned yesterday. We are like a projector and projecting an image outside. These flashes are put together. They are single flashes. When they go together, they make a life. How long does it take to make the whole flash? No time at all. When you put it into time, you can expand it. And here you can make it 7 minutes. In a dream, you can make it a whole lifetime. In that movie, Inception, they show that 10 minutes of sleep creates 1 hour of experience. In this second dream, it makes it even longer. Third dream, it makes a lifetime. In the lifetime sequence, they find an old man sitting a wise man, and he's asked by these people who are recent entries into the dream state, they ask him, "Are these people sleeping here? All these people come to sleep in order to wake up?" He says, "No. They come here to sleep. Because if they wake up, they have no time for experience. They come to sleep to have a long life." I understood this is exactly what we are doing. We are here extending our life because we want to have a longer experience, and we are sleeping. So when we wake up, we go to a higher level of consciousness, ultimately go to a timeless state. The pattern was very similar. But the more important thing I noticed in that movie, Inception, was that they had a means to wake up. If in the middle of the dream, if a catastrophe was taking place, they could wake up. And how they did it was that before they went to sleep, they kept a little totem in their hand, which had a little pointed point, so that when they pressed that, it would cause a little pain and they would wake up. So, since the eyelids are also moving when you go to sleep, they made arrangements that that totem, the hand will also move, will press in a catastrophe in the sleeping body. So when they had a catastrophic experience in the dream, the hand would move and they would wake up with the pain. They could move from the third dream to the second to the first just by that totem. I said, how wonderful. We have done the same thing, except instead of 3 dreams, we have 6 dreams going on here. We have come to the 6th level in dreaming, and we are still carrying the totem with us. What is the totem? Totem we are carrying, which we ourselves held in our hand before we went to sleep. The totem is called a perfect living master. He's just an appearance in our life, a human being who comes and awakens us, and we made that arrangement ourselves. He is the totem. What does he do? What does he do? What is his role? He has not come to change the world. He has not come to change anything. He has come to wake us up, for which the arrangement we had made, that when we are tired of this experience, when we are fed up, had enough of it, we should be able to wake up. And this is the arrangement we made, a very good arrangement, that in the projected world, which we are projecting, there should be a peace in the projected world with which we can hold on and wake up. A perfect living master is an ordinary human being, just like us. There's no difference. The difference is only in his awareness. And we have placed that awareness in him so that he can awaken us. It's the self doing the whole thing. There's only one self. The one self has created the many, and the many are using this process of being awakened by another human being who's like us. Great Master used to say, if you have a large number of radio sets placed together, and they are not connected to the power source, you can't get the news from any of them. If one gets connected to the power source, he'll give you news of the world. He used to compare a perfect living master with the radio set that's connected with the power source. A perfect living master is connected with the source, connected with his true home at all times. Not at some time and now he has come to teach us. No. He's connected at all times. And therefore, he comes here with that awareness and can take us to that awareness himself. His job is to take us home if we are tired. That is why these perfect living masters come here with the sole purpose, I am saying sole purpose, of taking their marked sheep back to home. The marked sheep are those sheep the shepherd has come to collect, who belong to his list, for which he has come because they are ready for him. They are ready because they have been seeking. When the seeking takes you at a point when you are ready, a master appears in your life and takes you back home. That's a simple thing. Of course, those who are marked to be taken home by a perfect living master, master will come in their life no matter what, no matter where they are. By coincidences, series of coincidences in life, circumstances will happen that a master will come in front of them and they'll recognize by the pure unconditional love they'll experience from such a man. He'll be an ordinary man, but his love will be extraordinary because it will be unconditional. There'll be no judgment involved at all. He will never judge anybody. He will not say, I love you because you are good or bad. He will say, I love you because you are a marked soul. I've come to take you. He will not look into your karma. He will look into your seeking. Look into how earnest is your seeking. That's the basis on which he will pick you up. And when he comes and takes you, he fulfills his obligation. That's what he is here for. By the way, when he comes and appears in a physical world like this, many others will also see him. Many others will follow him. Many others will have his darshan. Such a person with that kind of awareness with him, his darshan can make other people marked. His darshan can make other people also marked. But it does not mean necessarily they are marked by him, to be taken by him. But they are marked to be taken by somebody. So that is why when such a person comes, he comes with a list. I call it, in my terminology, list A. List A is those he will take back home because they are marked by, in his list to be taken home in the same life in which he meets them. Then the others who get his darshan, gets his benefit of his presence, they are marked into list B, and a perfect living master will come to them, if not in this life, in the next life, or still future life. Some of these people who get initiated by a master may also be on list B, because they have not reached that point in their seeking, but they have come into a point where they were ready to be put on a list, a second list, in which they will not stay here for more than 4 lives. The maximum they will be here 4 lives, and they'll be taken back by some perfect living master. It does not mean that you have to wait 4 lives. This 4-life business has bothered some people. I remember first time I came to this country, some satsangi said, we hope we will have only 3 more lives. I said, how are you sure this is your first out of those 4 lives? This may be the 4th one. Why are you always waiting for 3 more lifetimes? That is like procrastination. That's like putting off things. So I told them a story, a true story, that once great master was giving a discourse. In that discourse he said, any person who is initiated by a perfect living master will not have to come into this world in this human form more than 4 times, including the time in which he is initiated. 3 more lives. My father was not present. He was an initiated disciple of great master. He was not present at that discourse, at that satsang. He heard from other people that this happened. He came late. In the evening he met great master. And he said, Master, I am told you mentioned in the morning that a person initiated by a perfect living master will not have more than 4 lives. And great master said, Lake Raj, that was the name of my father. Lake Raj, why are you worried? This is your last life. Why are you worried about it? He said, no, I am not asking because of last life. I am saying, supposing I want more than 4. Are you putting a restriction on me? Then great master laughed and he said, this 4 life is not meant for everybody. Those who are initiated by a perfect living master and follow his instructions, they will go in the same life. Those who cannot follow the instructions and have to make up for it in a second life, they will go in the second life. Only those who leave the path, they leave the master, ever get a chance to come in a third life. And those who are almost against the master, even crucify the master, even kill the master, they come in the 4th life. So don't think that it's a rule for everybody that you have to come in 4 lives. If you follow the master's instructions, that is your last life. That was a great thing. Of course, we were very lucky to have Hazur Maharaj Baba Sawan Singh, some of us who were lucky to be initiated by him. Because later on we found out how he became a master. And that's another story I will share with you. It's a very interesting story. It's recorded by one of the disciples of great master, who and a friend of his were very close friends, and the friend was a disciple of Baba Jaimal Singh, the same master who initiated Baba Sawan Singh. He was present when Baba Jaimal Singh asked Baba Sawan Singh, the great master, to take on the job of being a master. Now, Baba Jaimal Singh was a military man, a simple man. He served in the army, and he was not asking too many questions. He found a master, he accepted, he was happy. Baba Sawan Singh was a clever man. He was not like him. He worked in the government service. He worked in the engineering service. You have to be very astute to be an engineer. And he had many questions to ask. He asked several questions. So there were 14 people present. I'm telling you a historical fact today. Not many people will know it. There were 14 people present, including one Narayan Singh, who told the story. Narayan Singh said that we were 14 of us sitting when Baba Jaimal Singh said, I have got the hukum, I have got the order from Swamiji, my master, Sawan Singh, you will be the next master and carry out this work. And Baba Sawan Singh folded his hand and said, Master, why me? I have not done that much work like these other people. They are more advanced. I know they have done more meditation, more advanced. I have been working hard on my engineering job. Why me? And Baba Jaimal Singh said, wait, let me check it. So it closed his eyes. And he was, for a few minutes, closed his eyes. He opened his eyes and said, new Mauj has come. New will has come. Playful will has come. Mauj means a playful will has come. My master says, no, tell Sawan Singh he will be the master. He said, but master, I have problems. Baba Sawan Singh said, I have some problems. He says, what is your problem? He says, the problem is, I am a poor man, I am working in government, I am not a business tycoon or somebody. I have a very small pension. And you mean to say that this work will increase and so many people will come? How will I feed them? How will I feed and accommodate so many people? That's beyond me. And Baba Jaimal Singh said, wait, let me check that out. So he closed his eyes. And he opened his eyes, says, new Mauj has come. And Baba Sawan Singh, what is the Mauj now? He says, the Mauj now is that my master says Sawan Singh should not worry because people will bring enough money and food to serve everybody. He will never have to worry about it, that he has to arrange money for feeding those people. Therefore, he says, you should carry on. Baba Sawan Singh said, wait, I have another problem. He says, what is your problem now? He says, Master, I have been accustomed to living in a nice house provided by government. I live in a nice bungalow. You are living in this little hut. And you mean to say I should leave all that, come and live in this little hut in the Dera, in River Byas, just to carry on this work? Baba Jaimal Singh looks at him and says, wait, let me check it out. So he closed his eyes. And after a while he opened his eyes. New Mauj has come. He said, what is the Mauj now? He says, my master says that Sawan Singh will not have to live in this hut. He will have a house better than the house he's been living in as an engineer. So everybody, all the 14 people were surprised at the question and answer that was going on. And Baba Sawan Singh still did not stop there. He said, Master, I have another problem. He says, what is your problem now, Sawan Singh? He said, Master, you say that once initiated by a perfect living master, a person can come for 4 lives. That means I will also have to come four times to save them. I am tired of 1 life. I want to go back home. You want to tie me down for 4 lives? He said, wait, let me check that out. So he closed his eyes again. And after a while he opened his eyes. He says, new Mauj has come. He said, what is the Mauj now? The Mauj is Sawan Singh. My master says, whoever you will initiate will not come in a second life, but go back in the same life. Okay, master, I will do your work. Clever master, don't you think so? I think he was the cleverest master, called the greatest master. So the great master got all preconditions filled up. And before he started on this. So we were very lucky. The few people that we were able to get initiated, we know that he worked on this basis. He worked on the basis that when he initiated anybody, that was the last life. He could hold some people at the astral plane, at the causal plane, at different stages, but not come back into the physical world. When we say 4 lives means after that you don't come into this physical world, which is a world of mixed pain and pleasure, of pairs of opposites, and you are at a better position to keep on meditating, keep on fulfilling your karma. Incidentally, karma is created only in the human form through the experience of free will, paid off either in human form or in any of the 8.4 billion species that exist, including living in the astral and causal plane, including dreams. Karma can be paid off. The karma when you create is called a karam juni. That means a life in which you can create karma. The one where you can pay off is called bhog juni, which means now you can clear off your account. We create so much karma with our intention, with our thoughts, all the time, that the creation of a karma is in a very small slice of existence in a human life, and the payoff is in a very large spectrum of life, both on the physical plane and astral causal plane. So what the masters do is that they take the rest of your pralabdha karma, which you created now, to be fulfilled in the astral and causal planes and take you back home. The sanchit karma I spoke of yesterday, the reserve karma, is totally destroyed and burnt at the time of initiation itself. An initiation by a perfect living master destroys the reserve karma, changes your attitude, which is very difficult to change otherwise. Attitude keeps on persisting because it is based upon accumulated karma of all lifetimes, not merely one life. Whereas incidents of life, the events of life, are created by pralabdha or destiny based upon incidents of previous lives. But the attitudes towards things, which is called sanskar, the sanskars are built over all our lifetimes of the past. They are accumulated. So the sanchit karma, which is an accumulation of all previous lives' karmas, determines our sanskars. And at the time of initiation by a perfect living master, those sanskars are changed and the sanchit karma is destroyed. So therefore, when a initiate of a perfect living master comes in the second life, the only elements from which the second life is built is the elements of this life. Otherwise, if this does not happen, we form our lives not from one past life, from several past lives. Little elements are taken from different past lives and they come and form our current life. In one of the epics of Mahabharata of India, a blind king asks the master, "Master, you have permitted me to look into my past lives. I have looked into 100 past lives. I have never done anything to become blind. How come you say that past actions create your current condition?" And master said, "Look back further. 104 lives back, you tortured a person, took out his eyes, and that has come out to play out in this life. It was held back in all these lives because of some other good things we were doing, but it came up now in this life and made you blind." When we say, how is our destiny made up? A destiny is not made up from one previous life. A destiny is made up from several lives. But when the several lives, their karma, reserved in a sanchit karma, is destroyed at initiation, the only life available to make the next life's karma is this life's pralabdha, which you are putting through in the karman that you create now. That's all that creates the next life. It's always better, always more conducive to meditation and working further on the spiritual path. Always better to make further progress on the spiritual path. So that is why once one is initiated by a perfect living master, that's the end of the game. According to Guru Granth Sahib, the sixth scripture, it says, "Jis darshan Satgur paya, tiska lekha nibdya." One who has seen the darshan of a perfect living master, his account is finished. Because thereafter, the account of any living moments after that, whether in this life or another, are in the control of the master, not of a negative power that runs this world, not of the time-space continuance power that continues to keep us here through cause and effect, but it is taken over by the master. When a person is initiated, no angels of death come at the time of death. The master himself appears. The master himself appears and takes those souls to where the master thinks is appropriate. According to the karmic pattern, the master determines. Whenever an initiate dies, only master will appear at his death, nobody else. No negative power comes. And that's a very big thing. I have seen so many people initiated by great master passing away. In fact, most of them who were my colleagues have passed away. And I've been at the deathbed of some of them. And each one of them told me, "Master's now come, I'm happy to go." Including my own mother. In fact, my mother once called me, I was in the United States, and she said, "Master came." I said, "Okay, goodbye." Then after a while she calls again, says, Master says, not yet. I said, Master just came to give you darshan, why are you? Of course, Master had passed away in 1948. There's a recent event. So, next time she called, she said, Master's come, I'm going. I said, okay, goodbye. And she left. I was very happy. My dad, who was also initiated, great master told him, I'm telling you my family situation which I came across. He was a great disciple. He was a professor of philosophy and taught metaphysics in college. And he used to ask questions from metaphysics, especially about free will. If God knows everything, that means God knows what we are going to decide, then how can we have free will? Questions like these, which are very difficult questions. Those used to be English professors from England teaching in India. They had no answers. So one day somebody told him, you want to get to a real professor, go to the river Byas, there's a dera, and Baba Sawan Singh is the real professor. He came to him, put the same questions, who gave right answers. He went back into college and told all his colleagues, all the professors, he found the answers. And many of them became disciples of Great Master after that. Great Master told him that he was a tree in his last life. He says, if I was a tree, he said, I've always felt wooden. When I touch my head, I always feel wood. So I must have been a tree. He said, you were a tree, but a perfect living master sat under the tree and took a little twig from the tree and used it as a toothbrush. That was good enough to make you skip over any other kind of life and become a human being. And now you have come, and now you have to catch up with all the missing links that you left behind. And his faith was tremendous. He used to think Great Master is God in human form. He totally believed that there is nobody else. He is the total. And we just happen to see him in human form. He would come home and tell my mother, I've just come after seeing God. She said, what do you mean? You mean the Master? Yes. Why do you call him God? Call him Master. He's not God. He's teaching us how to meet God. No, he is God in human form. My mother got very irked with these kind of answers, very angry. She went to Great Master. She said, Master, I have a complaint. Great Master said, what is your complaint, Kako? Kako was an affectionate term for ladies. And she said, my husband has turned crazy. He thinks you are God. And comes home and after meeting you, he says, I've just met God. Why doesn't he know that you are a master? And he said with a smile, Kako, don't mind what he says. He's just saying out of affection. He's saying out of respect. He's saying out of love. When somebody says out of love, we just respect it. Just ignore what he says. So that's how the matter was settled. I was working in the government. I was Chief Secretary of State at that time when my father passed on. He died. I had already fixed a meeting to go to a meeting in New Delhi where my father was, and was supposed to leave at 3 o'clock in the morning. At a few minutes before 3, when I was about to get into the car, I got news from my sister that our dad has just passed away. I said, that's a good opportunity for me to check out where did he go after tree to a human being. Maybe my uncles used to say he has done so much meditation. He's done meditation with Siddhar Bhadra Jagat Singh, with Kirpal Singh, with so many people, who many satsangis, for hours and hours. So he might have gone somewhere higher. One of my uncles say he might have reached Trikuti, the causal plane. So I said, now he's gone. He's not going to come back, I know. So good time to check out. So while the car was driving, I was in meditation, trying to talk to my master. I said, Master, out of curiosity, I just want to know, not only know, I want to see. I want to see my dad. Where is he now? And Great Master told me, you can't see him. I said, why? He says, instantly at the time of his death, he merged in me and is in Sachkhand. I said, Master, did he do that much meditation? He said no, but his love and devotion and faith was perfect. Thereby telling what takes us to Sachkhand instantly is not meditation, but love and devotion and perfect faith, unshakable faith. I knew he had that. That's how I learned a big lesson. That meditation is for the mind. Love and devotion and faith that comes from love and devotion. The unshakable faith. A faith that believes he's God and human beings, human flesh, that take you to Sachkhand. So I've always emphasized how important this is, that you have love and devotion for the Master. That will take you higher. Not only because of this experience that love and devotion takes you that far, but because love and devotion comes from beyond the mind. Whereas everything else comes from within the mind, including all types of meditation, including all types of repetition of words, listening to sounds, everything is all within the mental realm. You don't have any time and space to hear something. You don't have time and space to see something. It's a unique experience beyond the mind, which the mind cannot understand. We sitting trying to understand with the mind cannot never understand. That's why they make stories about what it is. It's indescribable. But you can reach there. Reach there now. You can reach there while you have human bodies here. Because the centers which can give you access to that kind of experience are still within us while we are living here. So what a wonderful opportunity that we are able to have these experiences while we are still here. I have been sharing these views with you for these 3 days. And many of you are already initiates of masters. Many of you are already meditating. My tips are very simple. 1, do not meditate mechanically. Do not start meditation unless you have become conscious that you are not the body, but you are in the body. You become conscious that you are a living force behind the eyes, inside your head. Place yourself in the head first. As I have been teaching in the meditation sessions we have had in the last 2 days, place yourself there, then start meditation. Do not merely close your eyes and start. It doesn't work. First place yourself there and then start. Do not meditate without love and devotion expressed for your Master. Do not routinely repeat Simran or any mantra in your head without having conversation with your Master. The Master is a living being. He is a living being. He is living in you. You have seen him outside and you will see him inside. He is not a concept. He is not somebody living far away, unseen. He is not in the Tibetan mountains. He is not living anywhere else. He is living inside you. And if you stay long enough behind the eyes, do nothing else, stay long enough behind the eyes, he will appear. If he doesn't appear, call upon him to appear. Have a conversation. If you want to cry before him, cry inside, not outside. Meditation will be successful. Therefore, great tip. Start from there and do not forget love and devotion. I'm very happy I could spend some time with you. I know there are a number of people who are waiting for interviews, and there are a few questions that I would like to answer. Is Baba Sawan Singh Ji coming back to the physical plane? Why should he come? He is merged in Sat Purush. He's become one with the ultimate. Every master who comes will be the same Baba Sawan Singh, coming from the same source. Don't you see, when you become totality of consciousness, you become one. You are not separate. You are no longer Baba Sawan Singh. You are no longer anybody with an individual name. These names are given to our bodies. They are not even our astral names. They are not even our causal names. There are certainly no names in Sachkhand. When you go there, you become one with the totality of consciousness. You become Satpurush. Satpurush is one. And Satpurush can come in any form. So every master who comes back, every great master who comes back, every perfect living master who comes back is Baba Sawan Singh. I have a quest for spirituality. But being a young man, I also have a quest for the opposite sex. Is that a problem for my spiritual growth? As it happens, We all old folks have also been young men, including me, and we have all had the same problem. So it's not unique. In fact, it's one of the most significant problems. Sex is a natural function of the human body. It's a function that's been placed in us for reproduction. It's a function without which the whole population will not grow, the species won't grow, no species will grow. It's a natural function provided to human beings and to all other species of life. It's not something unnatural. Therefore, it's a natural activity that will happen. Now, when you say, will it come in your way, it depends upon how you look at it. If you look at it as something that's a temptation and something that's dragging you out, it will come in like any other distraction. It will come in your way. If you take it as a natural activity, which is natural to human beings, it will not be a distraction. It's all depends on how you take these things in stride, and not only sex, it's also all other activities of life. People have asked me, I go to my job and I have to put my attention there. Is it a distraction in meditation and in my spiritual life? My answer is, if when you are doing your job, you are thinking of master, and it's master's job, an opportunity given by your master, it's as good as meditation. These are not my words, Perfect Living Master's words. His own grandson, younger brother of Maharaj Charan Singh, who became a successor two stages later, Purushottam Singh, he joined the army and became a lieutenant colonel. No, he became lieutenant in the army, and he was posted at a camp. He came back to his grandfather, the great master. He said, Master, all my life I thought I will be serving you and sitting at your feet. And what have you done? You put me out in the army, so far away from you. I am going to resign and come back and do service to you. Great master said, go back to your unit and go back and serve there. If you serve there with dignity and saying, this is master's work, he told me to serve there, it's as good as meditation, it's as good as serving me. These are his words. We don't give up these things in the world just because we think they're distraction and meditation is something separate. Meditation is not separate from your life. Your entire life should be meditation. Everything you do should be with the thought of your master and with thought of spirituality, and become spiritual and become meditation. These relationships here that we have, sexual relationships, other relationships, they are created by our karmas. They are created, we meet people because of our past actions and past lives. They are natural reactions. It's a natural law of karma that's creating these things. We have to go through them. You should take them as something that you are acting in a role, in a play. You are actors. That's not your reality. Your body is not your reality. Your body is an actor acting here. And whatever you are doing here is an act according to a play. Put your attention within. Remember the master. Even if you are having sex, remember the master. Therefore, don't think that the activities of this life, of any kind, are supposed to be taking you away from the spiritual path. You can do all your work of any kind, anywhere, and so long as you think you are doing it as master's work, it's like meditation. So don't be worried about these things. If most of us come back, there are two questions, I'll separate them. If most of us come back via reincarnation, then why is the world population increasing? Where are extra human beings coming from? Human forms are only one form of life. There are several other forms. As the forms progress through evolution, not only Darwin's evolution, which says that species evolved from monkeys, from insects and from amoeba, not only Darwin's evolution, spiritual evolution, which follows very closely Darwin's method, that when a human being dies, because of his karma, he can be an insect, a bird, a mammal, and again become a human being. Lord Krishna, who is worshipped in India as a avatar of Vishnu, he is giving a discourse as a child to his childhood friend Udo. They were both cowherds. They used to take care of the cows of the village, and they take them out and graze them and take them back home. While they are out, Krishna was enlightened at a very early age. And he tells Udo, he says, Udo, his words in that dialect of that part of the country, the dialect spoken in the Uttar Pradesh area where this dialogue took place, the words used by Krishna were, Udo karman ki gat nyari se. That means the nature of karma is very strange. The correct translation. The nature of karma is very strange. And he explains later what he means. And he says that karma can never be atoned by whatever you do afterwards. You cannot cancel karma by a good deed. Therefore, you do one bad deed and one good deed to atone for it. You are punished for the bad deed and rewarded for the good deed. That's how we get caught up forever here. If we could atone for our karma, we could get away. But you cannot atone. And then he, after explaining that, he points out, look at this ant crawling. And he points to an ant crawling. He says, this ant at one time was Brahma, the creator of this universe. This ant was one Indra, the lord of one of the heavens in the astral plane. And today, because of his karma, he is an ant. Even reaching that state of awareness, they were still bound by the law of karma and they can become ants. This transition from one form of life is continuously taking place. So when we say, where are these other human beings coming from as increasing the population of the world, they are coming from other forms of life evolving into human life at this time. If someone is to be initiated, is the master always with him or only at the time of initiation? Once a master initiates, once a perfect living master initiates a human being, he is with that human being, that disciple forever. From that moment onwards, forever. No matter what the form of the disciple takes. No matter whether he is here in the astral plane, causal plane, an angel, in heavens, the master is with that person. Never leaves. This is a permanent friendship of which I have not seen the like of anywhere in the universe. This friendship of a perfect living master with a disciple is such, there is no comparison. It's permanent, eternal. And the best part, the love that you experience from that friend who is a master is always unconditional and non-judgmental. So that's why it's the best friendship. So as soon as the master initiates a person, he manifests himself inside that person and stays there forever, accessible to that person at all times, day and night, 24/7. What are your thoughts on astrology? Astrology is a science, a very old science. I studied it. Like many other studies I did, astrology was one of them. Studied with a very great astrologer who was a satsangi of great master, follower of the great master. And he held a class in the Dera to teach astrology. We learned how to draw the charts. We drew the planetary positions. We could see aspecting of the planets and we could study them. And he was very good. For example, he was able to predict, while great master was alive, that after this master dies, whose chart showed that he can die whenever he likes. There's some charts like that also. At least I know of 2 or 3 people whose charts say they can die whenever they like. Great master's chart said that. The confluence of the stars was such that it gives all the power to the man who holds that particular pattern. But after he dies, when he chooses to die, the next master who follows him in this Dera will be their master only for 2.5 years. And he predicted this while great master was alive. Great master, after that, appointed a man to be a master. His name was Siddhar Bhagat Singh, attorney. an attorney who received Julian Johnson for the first time when he arrived in Jalandhar station and took him to the Dera. That attorney was very close to Great Master. Everybody knew he loved Great Master. He was the only person who had 24/7 access to Great Master, who come at any time and Master would receive him. He named him in a will, sitting in Dalhousie when Master was ill. He named him to be the successor. After a few years, Bhagat Singh died. Great Master recovered. People had great doubts about the Great Master. Didn't he know that he's naming somebody who's died? And he said he will be a master. Something went wrong. The astrologer was asked. He said, I didn't name him. Great Master named him. I only saw the charts and I said, the man who comes after him will be their master only for 2.5 years. This man never came after him, so I'm not bothered about him. When Great Master died, at the Dera, one professor, Sardar Bahadur Jagat Singh, was named as the professor and took the Dera office, took the duties of the master at the Dera. He died 2.5 years later. Astrologer was right. So after seeing these things, after my own studies, I do believe astrology has something to it. Now astrology bases itself on planetary positions and where the planets are in the zodiac, where they are moving. When you want to see a scientific explanation for this, the truth is that the planets are not controlling what's happening to you. What's happening to you is karmic, but the planets seem to be at the same place according to your karma. The cause is the life that you have. Planets happen to be the effect, not that they are the cause of what is happening here. So we take it the other way around. As if the planets are going to decide what our life will be. They don't decide. Our karma decides, and the karma is fitted in such a way in our experience of the universe, in our experience of the stars, that the stars take that position. Therefore, it would be wrong to think that the planets are affecting us. It would be correct to say that from the planets we can read what our life would be, which is something different. So astrology is based upon that. Any truth? Yes, the truth is as I have described, that they don't create our destiny. Our karma creates destiny, but the karma is placed in our lives, at which time the planetary positions is in a certain form, and most of the time you can read it. What about palmistry? I practiced palmistry also. I palmed off a lot of people. The truth is, there have been some very nice astrologers also. I saw a very good astrologer in India. He was known for predicting if a pregnant woman will give birth to a boy or a girl. Everybody consulted. Every woman who was pregnant said, consult him. I want a boy. Is he going to give me a boy or a girl? Somehow boys were preferred over girls for some reason in that society. And therefore, they all wanted him to come and tell. He was very clever. He would always predict that you will have a boy. They would give him a lot of sweets and a lot of money for giving good prediction. After making the prediction, he would go to the neighbor's house and tell the neighbor, I did not want to hurt their feeling. The truth is, that pregnant lady is going to give birth to a girl. Now, if a boy is born, they all celebrated, he got more money and more sweets. If a girl is born, they would call him, you told us, didn't want to hurt you. Ask your neighbors, I told them the same day. He was never wrong. There have been astrologers. I have also seen astrologers at work, palm readers particularly, palmists. Palm reader will look at your palm, oh, the is very common with them. Because they give you time to speak. Then say, I see, there has been a lot of incidents. You met a lot of people like that. Oh yes, you met people like that? So you say, yes, I met. They have been very disturbing. Yes, I have. you speak out a lot of stuff without realizing that they are very careful listeners. Then they talk of other things and their wealth will be like this. Then they say, oh, I also noticed that there have been people disturbing you like that. This palmist knows everything. That's what you told him. You forgot that you told him. So I've seen that also in action. I've actually seen that in action. But if the planetary positions can be read to occur at the same time as some of our events by karmic law, then is it possible that the planetary positions are also reflected on the palm? Yes, that is true. The same planetary positions that occur outside also occur on the palm. And I studied that. I studied Western palmistry, Cairo's books, what are they called? And several books from the East. In fact, a man, Dr. Gyani, he came from India. He had so many books, a library of about 1,000 books. And he moved from India. He worked in Southern California. And then he moved to a border, Tijuana, a place which is on the border with Mexico. I think Tijuana is, and he's moved there. He did a lot of work, spiritual work, a lot of books, karma and dharma, and many books he has written. And his own books, about 9 books he wrote, plus all his library. He came to India, he met me, he said, I dedicate my library and my work to you. And he died in India. He left this instruction. The United States Embassy, the Mexican Embassy, they all gathered and they said, there are parcels, huge parcels have come for you. They were all delivered at my house. I had no place to put them. When I opened them, all the old clothes of the woman who was his secretary, frocks and some things, and lingerie and whatnot. I tried to put all those underwears away. Then I opened other boxes, books after books, and large number of books on astrology and palmistry and numerology and all that. I was on a vacation. I said, let me see what they say. That's when I studied them. So I studied these things only by chance because of the books he left. Now the books have been dedicated to a library in a place called Shimla in India, in a library of advanced studies. And they set up a separate section for Dr. Gyani's library. So, but I got a chance to see some of these books at that time. He also wrote a lot of books on spiritual teachings. But there, he refers to the palm reading to be akin to astrological charts. In the early 60s, I came as a student to this country. Of course, I made one trip during 1 month that's given free before we can get our exams. I was coming for study of MPA and MBA here in Harvard University. So that 1 month I traveled around and I was giving talks on great master's teachings. And during that period, I remember that I was able to understand how these the people here are looking at astrology, palmistry. After that, they invited me. They invited me several times. I had no money to come. I said, very difficult to come there. I am a poor government employee in India. It's not possible to come. He said, we'll arrange for you. I said, I can't take anything free. That's part of my principle. No freebies for me from anybody. So what we did, they would buy my ticket. I would see what the cost is. And I did palm reading. $30 a piece. All paying for the ticket. I would return all the money for the ticket. I became a palm reader. I became a palmist. That's when I palmed off a lot of people. I remember one of those sessions took place in Detroit. I'm becoming a little personal, but you've asked such a question. I was invited by a eye doctor who was a satsangi and a representative of the current master at that time in Windsor, Canada. He invited me for dinner. And I was in Detroit, palm reading. Some astrologers came, American astrologers, 2 or 3 of them together. They said, does the palm have anything to do with its birth chart? I said, identical. They are the same. They said, if we bring a baby, infant, a newborn baby, or a little baby, a month old, and bring the chart, will you, without seeing the chart, look at the palm? Does the baby's palm have the same lines? Will you be able to read it? I said, sure. The lines, the basic lines are formed in the mother's womb. When the quickening takes place, in the 5th month of pregnancy, the baby clutches the hand. They are just being formed. That's when these lines develop. And it depends upon the pralabdha of that child, which is working through his DNA molecules. I put science and that together and I said, that's how these lines are created. And they are totally formed at the time of birth. We'll bring a baby. Let's see. So I remember in the evening of one day in Detroit, the same day I had to go to Canada for dinner, they brought the baby. And I saw the baby's palm. I could read every line. They're so clear. All the babies have clear lines. So I was able to read and give my reading based upon the planets, which are on the sides, and the palm, which is the center of a hand. And I gave my reading. They opened up the chart, it was identical. I became famous. Not as a spiritual teacher, as a palmist. They sent messages all over to all their friends. A line of cars and people gathered outside. I was supposed to go to dinner. I called my doctor there. I said, sorry, there's a big line here. And how do I manage? They said, I have invited 50 people to see you here. You have to come. He said, what about these people, 50 people here? Bring them along. So there, I still remember a great caravan going into Canada. And they said, after dinner, you can do your work there. Okay, they all came, and I was doing palm reading till 4 in the morning in the house of the doctor. So, palmistry also, same way, these readings don't create life. They don't create the events of life. But they occur in such a form because, to think of it, when you have a destiny already preordained, pralabdha pehle bani, pache bana sharir. That's your destiny. Pralabdha is made first before the beginning of the construction of the body, before conception. The destiny of a person is living still, walking about. His destiny for the next life is ready before conception and the new body starts. Therefore, when the destiny is already there, it works according to science through the DNA molecule. According to astrology and palmistry, according to the growth of the body, it picks up these same things from the pralabdha, from the destiny, which is being, whether you say DNA is creating it or karma is creating it, whichever way you call it, look at it in every way, you will find that there are indications which are broadly very true. I made one big mistake in my palm reading experience, and that was in the Dera itself. My aunt asked me, I understand you learned palm reading now. Tell me. He said, oh, I'll tell you. And I saw on the side, I can see your children's. I can see your marriages and I can see your children. These small, small lines. So I'm sorry to tell you, one of your grown-up children is going to die by accident. What kind of palmist are you? I was cursed and I was criticized. Is that the palmistry you have learned, to say you are going to die, your child is going to die? I was so rebuked, I had to go to Great Master and say, what are these people saying? He said, ignore them, you just smile. So what? He used the same 2-word mantra. When anything happens in life, if you want to get out of it, so what? So he said, so what? I came back. Next year, the second eldest son died in an avalanche while skiing. And although it proved that I was right as a palmist, I was wrong as a psychologist. I didn't understand that this is not a message to be conveyed, because what happened? I caused grief to occur before it actually occurred. Maybe one can, from karmic point of view, say that was also supposed to happen, but it did not happen again in my life. So I have been careful. I ask, do you want to know everything, or you only want to know the good things? Whenever I've done palm reading, and they say, tell us good things, I'm very happy. Some say, tell us all. I tell them good things. So this much about palmistry. I might also say that I don't do any palm reading because I paid for my tickets already. And I am not doing any more palm reading, except that my rate has gone up. From $30, it went to $100, $400, currently $800. Why is the rate so high? Because some people on their birthday, I give palm reading as a birthday gift, and I raise the price to make it more valuable. But no other palm reading. Thank you. Yesterday, you mentioned in your talk, God did not create us, we created God. Yes, I did say that, because nobody has seen God. Nobody. For one simple reason. God, in my definition, is totality of consciousness, one where nothing else exists except one God, everything is within it. If that is so, how can you see God? The only way you can know God is to be God. You can become God, have the same level of awareness of totality, and then you know what God is. But to say, I see God, continues the separation between you and God. And God does not have any separation. The separation is the illusion that has created the whole universe. Therefore, so long as we are separate, we cannot have any knowledge to say what is God, who is God. That is why we call other beings, other entities, other levels of beings who run these universes at different levels of consciousness, we call them gods. When we say, there is a God who created this universe, and we can go and our masters, prophets are sitting next to the God, you know what we are referring to? We are referring to the astral plane of consciousness run by a God, the same God who's being called God, who's being called Allah, who's being called Ishwar Puri. He is the head of the astral plane and creates this universe and runs it. You can go and see him. You can go and sit at his feet. You can go and sit next to him. Who is he? In some scripture, they call him Niranjan. Some call him by other names. Some call him God. He is the creator. He is the creator of the physical and astral universes and runs this as a ruler, as God himself. So therefore, when you say God, meaning that, yes, you can see him. And if you want, you can worship him. You can get boons from him. You can pray to him. And he listens to those things. It's a function of the astral plane of consciousness, where all heavens exist, where all hells exist, where all basic formulas, the ideas that create this universe exist. You can go there and see that happening. We worship those people. People worship them. But if you say God is beyond space and time, beyond duality, beyond pairs of opposites, that can't be that God. You can go further and go to an area where there are no ideas, there is no universe, there is no matter, but there is a creative power that creates all these time and space and cause and effect or karma, which is the causal plane of life. There's a God there too. Few people, not many, worship that God also. The one who worship the God of the astral plane think that is Sachkhand. They believe that's the heaven, that's the ultimate, because they've gone nowhere. Masters are teaching of that level. When they go to that level, they teach, they call that the Sachkhand also. I have gone through the masters, I practiced with that. So I know that when we say that can you see God, we're talking of these entities. And by the way, those entities are also a soul like our soul. They are the same soul that's in a tree, the same soul in an insect, the same soul in the God. But when you go higher than that, into true spirituality, not in the level of Niranjan or Brahm, the creators of the gods of the physical, astral and causal planes, but you go beyond that into Par-Brahm, beyond Brahm, beyond the creator of these universes, beyond the mind. When you go there you find our own self, the soul emerges and is part of God. Not God, part of God. When you go to true home, the soul merges in the totality and finds it was always part of totality. That is the ultimate creator and nobody can see it. You have to become that to be able to know it. So that is why if you want total self-realization, a total self-realization takes you to totality of consciousness and makes you merge with one within which everything is happening. All that we see here is also happening within that. It was never separated, never broken up, never made into pieces. And when I say that you can't see God, I'm talking of that. You can't see God. Now, leaving that aside, people who have never even gone to the astral plane, they are talking of God here. People say, God spoke to me. Who speaks to us? We all know it. Our mind. Our mind creates God. Our mind can create any concept. Our mind can create anybody. Sometimes we make an image, sometimes we don't even make an image. And hear a voice in our head. God told me, do this. I see people in Chicago standing on the street, telling all the passers-by, God is telling me, do this. God is telling me that. Nobody pays any attention. If they are prophets talking to God, everybody would stop there and kneel to them. Say, here are prophets have come here talking to God. I was in a job once of a district magistrate. A district magistrate in India has magisterial duties. He also has duties to make sure that people don't go to jail for no crime of theirs. Because the prisons there have a section for convicted prisoners and some sections for non-criminal convicts. Non-criminal convicts are those who are danger to society because they're crazy, they're mad, they can hurt people. So you can lock them up to prevent hurt to other people. But the police would sometimes misuse this power and lock up the enemies. And political people would use the police to lock up their oppositions, saying he's crazy, put him in. So the district magistrate's job was to go and check from time to time if people are innocent people and not been locked up, and you can talk to them and check. So I would sometimes go and talk to the inmates behind the bars and whether they are normal. If they are normal, they have been locked up. I would ask, why do you lock up? Are you a politician? Are you somebody related? So once I went to the prison and I was outside the bars, and one man came very close to me on the other side. And he talked to me very wisely, in a wise tone. He said, you think you are behind bars? Or am I behind bars? Actually, you are behind bars, not me. Because the bars prevent access to those who are free and those who are not free. You think you have confined me? No. I am free to do what I like. You are bound by the rules of government to follow them. You are bound. You are behind bar, not me. I said, what a wise statement from a guy, innocent guy sitting inside. I said, who told you this? He said, God told me. And he pointed out like this. God told me. There was another inmate. There are some ventilators there, and he had climbed up somehow. He was sitting there on top of the ventilator. When he said, God told me, that man shouted from the top, I never told him. I regularly see a health practitioner who practices with herb, homeopathic and back flowers, but uses a pendulum to find out what is needed. Is this permissible? do I accumulate karma by using his services? Karma is created by everything you do, not necessarily these. Anything we do with an intention to do it is karma. Anything that happens in your life without intention to do it, destiny, pradabdha, past karma being paid. It's very simple. People say, which is new karma, which is old karma? Old karma is where there's no intention, accidentally things are happening. Where you're born is prarabdha. Accidents happen, prarabdha. Things happen in your life automatically without your intention, prarabdha. You intentionally think, deliberate, should I do it or not do it? There are choices, and then you decide, new karma. So anything you do with intention is new karma. Now I am feeling a little guilty because I use herbs and I use homeopathy. And the question says, it's part of the question, do I create karma? Yes, I do. Because I intentionally administer remedies. It's karma. All actions are karma. I try to do it keeping my master in mind. Karma converting into meditation. When I learned this, it made my meditation very easy. You can see that. If you can do everything by remembering the master, if necessary doing Simran with it, then it becomes meditation. But the real part of the question is, he uses a pendulum to find out what is needed. That is his karma, not the person who is receiving the treatment. The person receiving the treatment is not using the pendulum. The person receiving treatment is using flowers, herbs, and homeopathic remedies made from flowers, herbs. So the person receiving is not creating any karma. The person using the pendulum, using his method of finding out, that's his karma. Now, does the pendulum give a good indication? I can tell you easy way to find out. If the pendulum swings and he gives a little powder, it works, pendulum was good. Naturally. There was a man I found, he said, I use a pendulum to cure asthma, asthmatic people who can't breathe properly. So what he had was, he had a little fire burning. He was like a sadhu, a mendicant. And he had a little fire burning in front of him. And he would have a pendulum. And a man would come, I have asthma. Any treatment? Let me find out. Pendulum would swing. Yes, I have. Pendulum has said, you take a little piece of that little ash, give him on his hand. Take it, like this. Breathing became normal. Then this was remarkable. Now people began to say, I went to that man and I watched this show going on. I asked a doctor, who was my neighbor, a medical doctor, I said, you think that is the pendulum, is a placebo effect? Is in the mind that's happening? He said, no, pick up that little ash. Because he picks up an ash from the side. I said, okay, next time I'll say, give me some ash for my asthma. So I went and took my ash and took it to the doctor. He analyzed. A steroid prednisone. An allopathic medicine for asthma. He crushed it and put it next to the ash. And it gives immediate relief, even if you take it from a chemist. And we hear so many thousands of people gave credit to the pendulum. So I don't know how well the pendulum works, but I met many people who say the pendulum guides our destinies. I said, I'm sorry, what guides your destiny? I said, my destiny is guided by my master, and when I can't decide what to do, I check with him. and he gives me an answer either inside or outside. And I have advised people that if you really have a question, ask your master. He will give you an answer directly inside. And if he is visible or his voice is seen and he gives an answer, check with Simran, which is a method to check if it is master or your mind speaking. That's a good safeguard. Check with the Simran. If the answer is still there, it's master's answer. If it is not there, disappears, or the image of the master disappears, it's your mind. So, or it may not be like that. You may be driving your car and a hoarding of another ad for something comes up, and 3 words of that is your answer. That's also sent by your master. Coincidences sometimes give us masters. So, following this method, which some of my friends says, following the clues. A friend of mine always calls it following the clues. So he got a clue and he got the answer. Following these clues, at least in the last 60 years of my life, or say 55 years of my life, I have never had to make a decision. Decision is always made by this method. So try it out. It works. It's worked for me. I hope it will work for you. How can anybody love master if you have never met in this physical plane? You cannot. Simple answer. I mentioned the case of Qutbuddin. He is telling his son that only when a sheikh holds your hand, you've seen him, can you say he's your master. If you have not seen your master, he may be a perfect living master. You are obviously in list B, not list A. You have to not only see your master, not only have his actual darshan, have his drishti on you, have his initiation from him, then he's your master. If this is not true, maybe you got some blessings and those blessings will work out. And one day, in a future life, you'll become initiated by a master. What do we do when we begin to experience higher realms of consciousness in meditation, but we don't find the form of the master there to guide us? So many times we get glimpses of higher realms, which you haven't actually reached there. But sometimes these glimpses build our faith. Sometimes we have had these glimpses early on, and then we don't get it for a long time. And we say, what kind of progress am I making? I did see that. Now I can't make a progress. These glimpses are only glimpses telling you what exists there. The actual journey is a sustained stay at those levels. Even when you see the radiant form of the master, even when you see the real form of the master inside, it appears and disappears for quite a while. And then it's sustained for a while. Master is not going anywhere. He's there. Our attention is still shaky. It's not easy to bring your attention fully at the third eye center and hold it there. And that is why these different experiences we have, which are glimpses of experiences, people have had glimpses without seeing the master even at the highest levels. Just one glimpse after another. And those glimpses are only building faith. There is something there. But the actual journeys take place when the master becomes definite and he says, let's go together, which can take time, sometimes a lifetime, sometimes more than one lifetime. So, but even glimpses are a good element to create faith, to create that there is something in and it's worth going ahead, trying. So glimpses are a good trigger for building faith and our effort to do something. Moreover, many of these experiences are in that part of the astral plane, which is an overlap with the physical plane. The astral plane has 2 areas. It's a pure astral plane, where all the heavens exist, and an astral plane which overlaps the physical plane, which allows a disembodied spirit, even after death, to be in the sub-astral plane, in the lower part, and still be working in this very physical level. That means A person who is died can still be here, can still be moving around with us, and can still be trying to contact us, may still be attached to us, may still be not willing to go anywhere else. And that happens because of the overlap of the astral with the physical plane in the lower part of the astral plane. Many of these descriptions of the higher levels of consciousness, there are many sections of them, having different aspects to them. In the astral plane, definitely, that which is an overlap here, this creates experience of something that is here and in the astral. Many experiences in the early stages of meditation take place in that area. So you're able to have something seen here and something seen there. It is a normal thing. Only when you have a sustained experience after crossing, at the third eye center, after crossing an inner sky, when you feel you are free to fly, the astral body is completely capable of flying anywhere. When you feel you are completely free to fly, and you may or may not see suns and moons and stars. Sometimes you see them, sometimes you don't. Some people see a lot of stars, some people see single star. But those are merely experiences that occur between here and the radiant form of the Master. So radiant form of Master appears later, although images of the Master may come earlier. Since the Master manifests himself in you at the time of initiation, he is available to you. You can talk to him from day one. But if you cannot see him, sometimes you can feel him. Sometimes while doing Simran, you can hear him. Sometimes in imagination, you can make an imaginative picture and just talk to the Master. He's still the Master. If he sustains, if your imaginative picture can be sustained while doing Simran, it is the Master. So there are many ways to contact. These so many glimpses come like this. And that is why the ultimate journey with the Master takes time. And that is when you have a sustained long-term experience every day, Master comes automatically. And every time you see him. Once you start seeing him inside, you can also see him outside, which is a great experience too. You see him in the morning inside, you're driving, he's sitting next to you. And sometimes you're flying in the astral sky, he's flying with you. Sometimes you have an experience of flying, Master in the physical form. The same form you have seen him here. He's flying alongside with you, and you have a little chat with him. The best part of the spiritual path I found is there's a friend you can chat with, you can share things with. You can have such an experience of friendship you can't have on this planet Earth, I can tell you. And that is possible because Master manifests himself right at the time of initiation. You mentioned once that the colors of the astral gifts we receive from on the roof have a specific meaning. What are the meaning of some of these colors? The meanings are different for each person. There are no standard meanings. Each person gets a gift. How many of you have this experience of picking up a gift from the astral sky? How many of you found it had a meaning? Very good, almost all of you. Now, each one has a different meaning. If I had more time, I would go into the details, but all I can say is that these astral gifts, first of all, you will see astral gifts in which there is no physical aspect. They picked up from the astral. In the astral stage, for example, what we call crystal, or crystalline objects here, are very common. It's a very common substance in the astral experience. Many people receive those kind of crystalline experiences. Here we don't have those types of crystals, but we get them. In the astral plane, there are some colors, especially blue, violet, that range of colors, which are so deep, they are not here in our spectrum, in our rainbow. Those are picked up by people. In the astral plane, you can pick up objects which are glowing with light. So many of you have picked up objects with glowing with light. They don't occur here. In astral plane, you can pick up flowers which are illuminated and shed light and change colors. You can't see them. By the way, when we did an exercise yesterday of the flowers and the drink and that thing, Did any of you see flowers changing colors? Yes, there you are. Did you see flowers having light in them? Yes. Those are astral experiences. They're not physical. But sometimes you can be tied up because it's an overlap experience. That you can be tied up with physical objects also that come up, and they also have a significance for you. The colors, the objects, they all have a significance according to your spiritual need of that moment. And that's how they come up. Which reminds me that would you also like to have those gifts today? Yes. Remind me in the afternoon. We'll break for lunch now.